Okay, so right now I am working on the scene. I was supposed to, but we'll get to it soon. A scene where we first meet Malik Straith, who is a monster hunter in my world. They're like they're like the monster hunters in the world of Atlas, and like he literally comes in and saves Zika and Time Mirrors behind because there's a feral vampire on the loose, and yeah, I was really excited to write that scene. Every scene that involves the Strength family in my series, I'm gonna want to write it because they're like so exciting because you only see them pop up for like a hot minute, do something amazingly cool, and then you never see them again. You know what it reminds me of? You know that scene? I'm probably one of the few people who probably watch this show, but like the scene in the Lord of the Rings TV show, right? Where the black dude, the black elf, comes in and he like beats up all like the orc things. I don't know what they're called. You think I would know because my mom religiously watched Lord of the Rings movies like for a whole year straight. I kid you not. For a whole year, all I saw when I walked downstairs was that movie series. Keep in mind, those movies are like 3 hours long. I don't know how she did it because what? Anyway, that's not the point. The point is, it's like that scene. I'll probably put in a clip here of that most badass scene in that whole fucking season. That shit was so dope, and I love how like later on when he meets Galadriel. Sorry, this is a tangent, but I must talk about it. He like sees her and he acts a damn fool. He acts like the biggest fanboy you ever seen in your entire life. He's like, oh my god, it's her, and we're like, this bitch, like you like this bitch, like for real? And he's like, you don't understand. He's like, oh my god, is this bitch? Keep in mind, we just saw this man do the coolest trick shots ever with a bow and arrow. So tied up. So I'm thinking, damn, like she must be the bitch. Like, because the whole time you're like, she's a bitch. Like she thinks she's the shit. She ain't shit. But then you meet this man who's a little badass talking about something. It took me 300 years to perfect my skills. That was crazy. And then he sees this bitch and he's like, nah, that's a real one. And you're like, damn, like she must be like actually like something. And he's freaking the fuck out. Anyway, that's besides the point. My point is I was writing that scene, and in the middle of the scene, I was gonna have Tamir enter and like get his ass beat too, but try to like fight first before he gets his ass beat. Trippy ain't a little bitch. But like I forgot what his weapon was. I was sitting there being like, what weapon did I give him again? And then I was like, oh, okay, let me go on Pinterest board because I put Azika's weapon in the Pinterest board. Like I put a bunch of pictures and be like, this is her weapon, this is what the vibe of it, this is what it kind of looks like. So then when I read it, I like can be like, this is what it looks like, blah 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 blah. Apparently I'm stupid because I didn't do that for anybody else except like Leah, her best friend. So I was sitting there like the last 8 minutes I was just like, let me go back and put all the pictures in and their weapons so this never happens again, because I'm gonna forget the weapons again, even though I'm writing. This book is literally taking place during an active war zone. I want everyone to know this, right? I hate fight scenes. But you know, I think in the next video clip of you seeing, we're gonna talk about how I'm writing fight scenes, especially sword fighting scenes. But for now, just keep in your mind, like I had to stop everything just for 8 minutes and go put this on my Pinterest boards, because if I didn't do that, this would take me 10 times longer. So that's where I'm at right now. I'll check back in with you guys after I'm done with the second sprint. Wish me luck. Let's talk about what I'm listening to. So this is what I'm listening to. This isn't hidden from you at all. You can go find it on my channel. I will link it in the description below if you want to listen to it for some reason. It already has 317 views. But that's not me, by the way. Like I made it public for the public, right? And I put tags in there and stuff, you know, for giggles, for when I do release it for my book, right? So people, I always like that. I like when I'm hungry, sorry. I like when writers have playlists for their stories so I can listen to it. You know who does that? Crazy K does it. I read her book series. It's not done yet. Well, it is done. Well, Golden Legacy Part 1 and Part 2 are done. I read both of them. I like Part 1 more than Part 2. Part 2 is just fighting I don't find fighting exciting. I'm sorry, I'm a little. I think when I liked fighting scenes was probably in The School for Good and Evil. Book 3. Book 3. Oh my god, that book was so good. If you haven't read, don't read all of them. If you haven't read The School for Good, I'm gonna make a whole video about those 3 books because it's so good. I'm rereading them now because I find such enjoyment in them. That's not the point. The point is, I love it. I only love it because I think it's like Abby Emmons always says, your character comes before everything. If your character isn't strong, everything else doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And that's how I feel when I read School for Good and Evil. Those characters are so solid that when they're not solid, you'd be like, I don't care. Do you know what I mean? But like when they're solid, like, oh my god, the fighting, that battle scene, I felt something in my bones. Like I felt something for real. Like I was like, oh my god, like I care. Not that I didn't care about Crazy Case characters. The problem was that there's so many characters to keep track of that it's like a lot. Your brain's just like, girl, I can't. There's too many people to care about. Like I can't care about any of this. I can't talk about it. I'm getting through it. I'm getting through this scene. Okay, just talk about that. So this scene I'm working on right now is the scene, obviously same scene as before. It's the Pharaoh scene. This time I knew what the sword weapon was. It is the scythe. So I jotted down the progression of the fight scene. Again, using Abby Emmons' method, tailored to me. And I had watched a bunch of fantasy videos and tutorials in language the last week of October before Nov started. And I took notes. These are my notes. Like, I use this throughout the whole scene. Like, I use this as a reference note to how to continue the scene forward, and how to transition the fighting scenes into, like, things that make sense. Like, right? I think my mom, she's also a writer. She's also a fantasy writer. She writes historical fantasy. And she, like, was getting beta read. I think, was it her first book? No, it was the second version of her. I don't remember. So she's gotten so much beta reading done, but that's the point. The point is one of her beta readers, who was a fencer, was complaining about the sword fighting. Because they were like, yo, that's not accurate. They're like, I'm a fencer. That's not accurate. And I was like, that's so smart. I'm like, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna go watch a fancy video, take notes about how to use that to make my fighting scenes better for sword fighting, and then I'm gonna use that, and that's what I'm doing right now. So that's what's going on right now for my scene. Right now, I just got, when the thing ended, to my boy Malik entering the scene, slashing this man. I decided I'm gonna give him Berserk sword. Yes. I'm gonna give this man a Berserk sword because I think that's the badass shit. The giant sword. That makes no logistical sense. We love it. Makes no sense, right? But I'm gonna give him that sword. I gotta figure out what he looks like because I haven't figured that out yet. Right? So I'm going to do that. Okay, and I'll see you guys after session number 3. Bye. I just finished my third round, my third session. We're going into the final session. I only have 2 more bullet points to do for, like, the fight scene or whatever. And then I have to do their meetup where, like, they officially meet him. Like, you see him officially. They're like, yo, who are you? He's like, my name is Malik Straith. I am part of the Straith family. They're all really serious. I realize this now. Like, I made most of the Straith family very, very serious. And was that intentional? Yes. No. But also yes. Because I think, when you meet them in my later series in Project Crown, you don't meet them until book 2 of Project Crown, and it's like, that's the whole thing, because, like, it's so made. This is such a nerdy thing to do. I was reading The Witcher when I made up this family, and I remember thinking while reading it, I was like, I love the idea of monster hunters in my world, because I never really thought about it, because I knew there's monsters and creatures in my world. I haven't actually developed them as much as I wanted to. I just get random ideas, like, oh yeah, the Scourge, and, like, the Stolas, and, like, the da-da-da-da-da. But, like, I don't, like, sit there and, like, yeah, the monsters in my world. You know what I mean? But, like, I'm like, yeah, that makes sense that there's monsters and creatures in my world. Why wouldn't there? And also, like, there's the whole thing with, like, fairy wings that gets explored later on in this book, actually. In one of the chapters where Azika makes mention of the fact that fairy wings are potent in magic. Like, humans will literally hunt fairies down and, like, tear off their wings, which is actually really horrible for them. Which I stole this idea before everyone was like, oh my god, you're so, no bitch. I stole this idea from a Wings Club comic creator. I will put her in the description below, and also like her stuff because it's so good. It's if you like Wings Club and you like the ship Valtor X Bloom, you'll really like her stuff. But it's good. Even if you don't like it, I don't even like Valtor X Bloom. I think it's silly, but like it's really good. She's really good. Her art is so good, and she came up with the idea. Well, I don't know if she came up with like the idea, but like the way it's done in the book is like iconic. In the book, in the fan comic is so good, and like the visuals she has with it is so good, guys. It's so good. And then I thought about it. I was like, that's such a good idea. And then I think I had that idea actually like a while ago, but I didn't like develop it because like there's no fairies in my project round. Like you never really need a fairy. But in this one you will. So I had to like to actually develop it. But yeah, that's where I am right now with the scene. So I might actually and then before the end of the session, I might actually finish this scene and get on to the next scene. And if I do that, I will talk to you about it in the session 4 meetup. So bye. I'll see you later. Just finished session 4. I wrote 1,561 words. I'm done though. I'm done for the night. It's 11 o'clock. I can't be bothered anymore. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving, but I also have to clean my place tomorrow though, I'll be trying to do 3 sessions, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and then 1 at night. Yeah. That's it. Bye.